This just in. News from minor league baseball.
And Andy, I see a tweet. And let me read the tweet. Andy Tom Chesson from Go Astros is with us.
Such a great tweet.
Yeah, it's a great tweet that John Heyman has said that Aroldis Chapman's his appeal of his 3-game suspension, 3 games, is being postponed till next season because of a lack of witnesses.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that would be a 9-game suspension in a real season. So that's, big deal. I think it's not even lack of witnesses. It was involving an availability of witnesses, which means the Major League Baseball office cannot compel other players to talk or won't compel other players to talk, can't watch video, can't watch a replay. I don't know what Manfred is doing or thinking anymore. I know he's not directly involved with discipline decisions, but it's absolutely under his purview, and it absolutely smells to high heaven.
And Joe Torre is in charge of it, isn't he?
Former Yankees manager Joe Torre?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, they don't want to, I guess, risk his availability because they're still in that division race. Look, here's the thing about that is I don't even know that I felt like, I don't feel like that Aroldis Chapman was throwing at that dude's head unintentionally. So we can discuss whether that, but that's immaterial. How are fans of other teams supposed to look at this other than the fact that there is this thing that we've all suspected that there is a favoritism to the New York Yankees?
Well, I mean, it's beyond suspicion at this point, right? There's a letter that supposedly exists that Major League Baseball and the Yankees are fighting to prevent the release of, or at least the disclosure of, its contents because it would make the Yankees look bad. Why does the league care if the Yankees look bad versus 29 other teams? And yeah, I've got a little burr under my saddle because they very specifically don't care about making one team look bad. That seems to be 2020 in a nutshell. But the Yankees thing has gone on for literally decades. This is a franchise, yes, that's the face of Major League Baseball, but you got to wonder, are you putting the cart before the horse a little bit when you decide you're the face of Major League Baseball, so you're above reproach, but are you above reproach because you're the face of Major League Baseball? So did you create one thing or the other? You've put the other 29 teams, or at least 28 teams, in the position of being the Boston Red Sox, who historically have cried about the Yankees' treatment. But you get to ignore it, especially for us being fans of a National League team up until 2012. It was just that thing happening over in the junior circuit. Now it's really in our faces, and it's really what the rest of the American League and really baseball's had to deal with forever. And eventually people get tired of preferential treatment being given to a team that they don't root for. Sometimes Yankees fans even get tired of it. They won't admit that on Twitter, of course, because
well, and it's funny, and I we at least have some friends of the show that acknowledge it. Like Scotty before the pitch will tell you, yeah, we treated better than everybody else, and he just embraces it. But the Yankee letter is the thing, right? And the word I think that they use is that it would cause reputational damage. And it seems to me, if you really want to clean up the game, then you get that information out, right? If you really want to clean up the game.
But there's no desire to clean up the game. There's a desire to make it look like it's cleaned up, which is why every week or so, maybe every 10 days now, you still get a mention in major media outlets about the Astros cheating scandal. And I'm trying not to make this about the Astros, but it is my most recent example.
Yeah.
If it wasn't this, it'd be something else. It is a very purposeful mission to distract from what's going on with their star franchise, their pride of baseball franchise, Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth and Joe DiMaggio all rolled up into a ball of warmth, goodness, and American apple pie, and have you not pay attention to the man behind the curtain. The Yankees are a fantastic franchise. I'm not taking anything away from them. They're very clearly the best franchise in the history of Major League Baseball. Having said that, the longer they continue to get winked and nodded at every time they do something wrong. So I'm not sure that it matters, but when you're talking about having the Yankees, who in 2017 had a bullpen phone issue that got swept under the rug, they got a verbal slapping on the hands, and going forward, anybody who does this is going to get in trouble, even though no rules were established about it.
Right.
Right. So then the Red
and we
Sox,
can agree that they were not ordering a pizza on the bullpen.
Of course they weren't ordering a pizza. Just like the Red Sox didn't have one guy happen to be looking at signs that happened to be sitting next to the dugout. It's mind-numbing that they think the American public, or at least the baseball-watching public, is stupid enough to keep buying it over and over and over again.
You brought up something that I thought was interesting. It does seem like the minute the news cycle slows down for Major League Baseball, another angle that isn't even really an angle to the Astros thing comes up.
Well, and I don't want to blow up your spot, but realistically, the new thing is going to be George Springer is non-committal about, what his next steps are. And for those listeners who don't follow Major League Baseball, great, or watch viewers, George Springer's a free agent. He may or may not re-sign with the Astros. The Astros would like to re-sign him at a reasonable price. He is 31 years old. But it's going to turn into a story if he doesn't re-sign about him trying to escape this toxic culture that the Astros created with cheating. And you saw it at least in a couple of tweets from different media outlets this morning or last night about how, we wouldn't be surprised if Carlos Correa did it too when he's a free agent in 2 years. The story is going to be and continuing to live on with any time a player leaves the Astros or goes to the Yankees, for instance, because both those players are the kind of players New York would try to sign, that they're leaving because the Astros are horrible and the Yankees are wonderful.
Well, the Yankees won't sign Springer because they don't want any cheaters.
Uh-huh. Let's see what happens when they need a right fielder or a center fielder, and I don't know, November's over.
Yeah. No, I think that's it. I think, to me, I'm reaching my level of can't handle it anymore either. And I don't I want to make a real distinction between the fact that not only do we agree that the Yankees are a good team this year and a good franchise, but we're not trying to imbibe their, unlike what they do to us, Andy, I'm not trying to indict their fans along with their team. I expect Yankee fan to behave as homerish as you want. But for us who take it on the chin every time we turn around, I guess I'm just tired of being, as the story gets reduced to soundbite after soundbite with less and less nuance when there should be more and more, to the point that we've invented cheating from the very beginning.
Well, it's kind of – I'm not mad at the Yankees. I'm not mad at the Red Sox. I'm not mad at really anybody who runs a Major League Baseball team. What I am done with or irritated by or pissed off about is the way – let's put it this way. If my kid got in a fight at school and my kid was suspended from school and the other kid wasn't suspended from school, I wouldn't be mad at that kid. I'd be mad at the administration for not applying the rules fairly across the board. And that's ultimately what's happening in Major League Baseball, is this idea that we just don't apply rules fairly. And if you're not based in New York, it sucks to be you.
Yeah, one of the things that I heard Jeff Passan try to explain away why the Astros were punished, but the other teams mentioned were not. And we can also, honestly, lay a lot of blame at Jim Crane's
for sure
feet, because he rolled over for Major League Baseball because it's in his interest to, leaving his players and the fans of his team, quite frankly, to take the brunt of the punishment. But he pointed out that, there's a difference between felonies and misdemeanors. And I said, that's fair. So let's ignore the fact that stealing the sign is what was illegal. Method of communication was not.
Right.
It doesn't matter where you have a player, that the illegal act was stealing a sign. Now, just like if I beat somebody to death versus shoot them, maybe I get longer jail sentence because I went a little overboard. The other people who commit crimes also get jail sentences, in which there were none.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that happens in our criminal justice system, Jeff Passan, if this is the analogy you want to make, is that if you're a repeat offender, you also will get a harsher penalty.
Oh, you mean like the Red Sox or the Yankees?
Yeah.
Weird.
I think, again, and this is why I wanted to bring you on, because it is just it is another example of, if Joe Espada, not Joe Espada, who's the hitting coach for us?
Centrone.
Sorry. If Centrone, if this had happened to him, we don't have anybody that witnessed him call what's his name's mother a bad name.
No,
so
and he denied it.
Well, he also denied it. We're going to kick this to next season. Holy hell would break loose.
because Major League Baseball can't find anybody to ask the question to. Not even, I mean, that's the scenario, but you take it even more an absurd step, more absurd. It's not that they can't find anybody; those people just aren't available. It's not that there weren't witnesses, there weren't people in the park. They're not available to talk to right now. They have other commitments. It's just asinine.
But you and I are 3 hours away, and we're communicating.
No, I'm not available right now.